Welcome back to the Apatros Review. In this episode, Urban Justice, also known as Renegade Justice, directed by Don E. Fauntleroy in the year 2007, available on Australian DVD by Sony Pictures. Hi there, welcome back to the Apatros Review. I'm your host, Milo Sipka, and join me as I take you on a ride through the wild world of science fiction action horror, all from my personal DVD collection. A whole heap of DVDs, plus a few Blu-rays, videotapes, TV shows, and video games, and even a few books. Now in this episode we look at the film Urban Justice. At least in Australia and Britain has Renegade Justice, as you can see from the DVD thing. There's the back cover. I'll just read the blurb up for you. Seagal is taking over the hood. Steven Seagal and Eddie Griffin turn up the heat in this no-holds-barred explosive action thriller that will blow you away. When a good cop is killed in a drive-by shooting, the police department writes it off as a random act of violence. Big mistake. That young cop has a father who happens to be a special forces trained, street-fighting, nerves of steel avenger, hell-bent on one thing, justice. Now to find his son's killer, Simon Ballister, Seagal, must go head-to-head with two rival gangs and turn the streets red in his quest for revenge. Not exactly two rival gangs. Now that's the DVD. Now the film was released as a direct-to-video feature on the 27th of October 2007 in Greece, on the 5th of October 2007 in UK, under the Renegade Justice title, and on the 13th of November 2007 in the US. Now, it was released in Region 4 DVD by Sony Pictures Home Entertainment, which is a single-layer DVD. It's got 178 anamorphic widescreen. It's got three soundtracks: the English 5.1, the French 5.1, and the Spanish 5.1, all in the 448 kilobyte range. 8 subtitle tracks including English, and the only supplement on this disc are basically 5 preview trailers. Now, when his police officer's son Max is shot dead in what appears to be random drive-by shooting, former Special Forces operative Simon Ballister decides to take the law into his own hands and avenge his son's murder by tracking down the man who killed him. He arrives in the Los Angeles suburb, where his son was killed, rents an apartment to reside in, and then probably causes havoc in the neighborhood while the vicious gangster who ordered the hit, Armand Tucker, and his corrupt police officer buddies attempt to stop him. Another day, another go at the filmography of one-time 1990s action star turned walking joke Steven Seagal. I say walking joke because while his works from the very late 1980s and early 1990s were highly reviewed by his fans, most notably Under Siege, his best film so far, his post-1998 works, which are almost all destined for the direct-to-video market, have been regarded as distinctly mediocre and utter crap, and his loyal fan base is out to dwindle. With Urban Justice, show it again, which here in Australia and UK was released as Renegade Justice, Seagal reteams with Don E. Fauntleroy, who has done a couple of films in the early 2000s with Seagal, and who only took on this assignment on the condition that Seagal, who also produced the film, behaves in a more professional manner, namely not leaving the set too early. When I first heard of this film, which has attained a modest reputation amongst Seagal for Die Hard as one of his best 2000s works, I thought, this really can't be that good, given some of his other films have been utter dreck, but was pleasantly surprised by this one. For starters, Seagal is on screen for most of the film's runtime, and none of that business of getting his stunt double to do non-stunt work like walking across the room or some nonsense like that. Seagal also doesn't sound like he's being dubbed over and does his own fighting, which looks pretty sweet, even for the majority of his victims are all illiterate gangbangers who wouldn't know their asses from a hole in the ground. Story-wise, Urban Justice, or Renegade Justice, whichever you prefer, has a very simple storyline. Honest cop gets popped, and Special Forces father comes in and kicks some ass. Unlike the majority of his earlier works, Seagal's character here gets almost no background development. He just is, which doesn't matter too much given the nature of the exercise. The rest of the cast are only developed to a slight notch above brass tacks and are all given the most rudimentary motivation. The one thing I did not like here that stops the film from being a solid effort, although it's still one of Seagal's best films of the misbegotten decade, aside from the lack of anything standing in the action department, is the overuse of profanity in this film. Writer Gilmore Fortis II seems to think that everybody in the hood talks like the kids on South Park, with a sheer bewildering number of times that the word motherfucker gets mentioned here. My late father used to swear quite the blue streak. We served like that, especially when we watched the leftist CNN. But even he wouldn't be impressed with the alarmingly large number of times these twitchy gangbangers drop F-bombs like they were craving the sugar rush from these words. Head gangster Eddie Griffin even recites the legendary Scarface line, "Say hello to my little friend," to his stock cadre of cocaine bitches. Also notable is that while Griffin's character of the sociopathic Armand Tucker is set up to be a major villain, he never gets the justice he deserves. I mean, sure, he sends his hoods to take on Seagal, but they always keep failing, and at the end, all Seagal does is just kill the corrupt cop who shot his son. He doesn't do anything to Tucker himself, which is such a waste given how much an evil bastard Tucker is. So, all things considered, a C+, 5 out of 10 for Urban Justice. This is not quite a solid effort, but in the world of the Steven Seagal direct-to-video actioner, it's one of his best from that decade. Now for the gore. There's some bloody squibbing in play here, including some overstuffed blood patches of bullet hits, but nothing actually resembling gore, and there's no nudity in this either, which is kind of strange. I mean, most Steven Seagal direct-to-video films feature at least one or two boob shots or a butt shot, but this one doesn't. Now for the DVD. Another of the long line of Steven Seagal direct-to-video films, released in Australia and globally by Sony Pictures. I should point out that the film was originally considered for a theatrical release, but Sony changed plans at the last minute. Good call, given that this would most certainly have been a flop were to go theatrical. I mean, it's not a bad film, but just, audiences will not really waste their time watching this kind of thing in the cinema. Now, the picture quality is strangely off by a degree. The post-processing grain is present in some scenes, particularly if we watch this on a high-definition TV, which, along with the lack of shadow detail, robs the film a good deal of fidelity. Otherwise, it's okay. The soundtrack comes in 3 options, English, French, and soundtrack, all in 5.1, which all sound fine. There are 8 subtitle tracks here, including English, and the only supplement consists of previews for other Sony releases. Internationally speaking, all DVD releases of Urban Justice are almost identical, save for some differences in the soundtrack and subtitle departments. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. Here it's, here in Sydney it's kind of like 35 degrees outside, that's Celsius. So it's pretty hot. The lockdowns in Victoria has already gone down, mostly. And we're going to have a vaccine by next year, about March next year. Which should be good news. We've pretty much unlocked the world by then. Now, I don't do requests, but if you want to know if I have a particular film in my collection, just hit me up in the comments section, and I'll answer. Hope you guys are staying safe. Enjoy your day, and that's the first review.